Thanks, Dave. Developer Bohemia Interactive know how to build big, beautiful worlds, and the battleground of ARMA 3 is stunning.
It's wonderful to see such care go into a map so large. If you've never played an ARMA game before, well, good luck, because you're gonna die a lot. ARMA 3 is definitely a military simulator first and a game second. It won't hold your hand and it won't make your life easy.
We've linked up with Foxtrot and Gurna. Hawkeye reports multiple contacts en route from the north.
The single-player campaign is coming as free DLC soon, but right now you can jump into some co-op multiplayer, a campaign editor, and a bunch of scenarios designed to showcase what's new.
Taylor, engage that man! Northwest!
Despite plenty of radio chatter, I found the mission objectives for these scenarios a bit confusing.
Acknowledged. Continue with the operation. Out.
In one particular mission, I must have spent about 15 minutes stalking my target, and I was so careful, Hex. I sat in the dark, I went around all the trees so he couldn't see me, I lined up my shot, I held my breath, and I went for it.
One, check your goddamn fire.
And then he held check your fire because of my teammate, and apparently I was meant to meet up with him and take the mission from there. I loved that stalk though, the long lead up to a fight.
Yeah, you definitely can't just grab a gun and start spamming. Gunfights in this game begin before you can get the chance to lift up your weapon.
I found the most important thing was really just getting the drop on your enemy. Next to walking and hiding.
Bravo can't hold out much longer. You must hit the village now. Over.
And not shooting people in
And
your
not shooting your
side.
teammates, and recognizing who's your enemy.
There is a lot going on under the hood to make sure the shooting feels realistic. How much you're carrying, if you're injured or out of breath, distance, wind, it all matters. Just taking a shot can be a complicated series of calculations, and if you're not careful, it can end in disaster.
Hostiles. Contacts on the ridge line. Focus your fire. Blake, engage that man. Larkin, engage that machine gunner. Front. Carey, engage that machine gunner. Front.
Showcase missions, show off scuba diving, new vehicles and controls, and the command mode, which lets you order troops about, and much more. They kind of act like a tutorial for newcomers. But there are still just some major mechanics that have flaws that I think should have been fixed for the sequel.
Team Red, engage that attack boat. Front.
Commanding just didn't feel accurate or clear enough. I'd say I spent more time just trying to get my team into position than focusing on strategy and the fight itself.
Taylor, move 100 meters, front! Taylor, move 100 meters, front! Taylor, move up! Taylor, move up!
Understood.
Yeah, I tend to do okay when I was just following orders, but as soon as they put me in charge, things just went wrong really quickly. And I was just yelling at them, no, don't look at me, just go shoot the enemy or hide or something. Commanding is a great mechanic, but it felt unfinished.
Yeah, all the AI felt really rough to me, to be honest, and it's such a shame. Also, I know this isn't Call of Duty, but the fish don't swim away from you.
Oh, terrible fish AI. Still, fish aside, I think it's fair to say that all of the AI in general has improved marginally from 2, just not enough. Enemy actions still don't feel sentient, especially when they stand about waving their gun weirdly, and they seem to go from brainless drones to expert marksmen in a flash. And considering how quickly you die in this game, having those kinds of AI issues are what makes it feel unfair and really pulls you out of the sim.
Yeah, the other thing I felt completely disappointing were the controls. Somehow they've managed to make them worse. Using scroll wheel and middle mouse or spacebar to navigate menus, to do things like order troops or enter vehicles, it's just madness. And I know you can go in and customize a lot of these controls, but even that menu is a nightmare to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, I know that certain things do have to take time for game design reasons. Like inventory and changing weapons, that makes sense, and it adds a lot to the sim part of the game. But there has to be a more user-friendly way to add that delay and still keep the action moving at a realistic pace.
I know it sounds like we're being quite negative with this game, but it's because we were expecting so much from it, and it's really disappointing that these things haven't been fixed when they really should have. But there is a lot to like, especially the maps. The biggest being Altus. 270 square kilometers full of villages and plenty of variation to set up fights in. Just look at it. Look at all the things. It's just so beautiful, isn't it, Hayes?
Yeah, I mean, I'd even say photorealistic at times. Of course, you'll need a decent graphics card to get you there.
One thing about this being such a big open world is that if you're not going in with friends where you can be organized and find each other, you're going to be walking around lost a lot of the time.
Yeah, tackling missions cooperatively or in one of the many different user-created modes is really where the game shines. That said, the local player population isn't very high right now, so there's not a lot of games to choose from.
Hello? Anybody out there? Where is everyone? As I walk through this field, I ponder life and am bored. It's so impressive that so many of the buildings in this world can be entered and destroyed. And we discovered this when we found a custom mission where you pretty much fly around as a superhero, destroying any building that you wanted to. The mission editor seems powerful, but it's not very intuitive, so we haven't spent heaps of time with it.
Yeah, the wonderful thing about the ARMA series, though, is that it has this incredibly dedicated community making mods and missions and will continue to do so for quite some time. As it stands now, I struggle with this Barjo, as I did with other ARMA games. I'm so glad these games get made because they definitely have a place, but it does raise the question, does a sim need to be fun? I know this is about creating a realistic experience as a soldier, but the fact is I have a better time being a soldier in Battlefield 3.
Yeah, there is a magic to this game, isn't there, though? Like we found with DayZ. The love of that long, slow crawl to a fight.
Contact! Free to engage! Taylor, front! Fire at that soldier! I'm on it. Right west, 100 meters, front!
But for now, I gave this 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a tough one to score, isn't it? Because as it stands, it's missing its single-player campaign, but from my experience, I gave it a 6.5.